I'm not quite sure how to write this, but I need to. What I found is too weird and frightening to not tell anyone, since we're all in lockdown. I finally have time to write down what happened. Back in January, I was at Value Village, looking in the book section for a birthday present for my roommate, who I'm just going to call Hannah. See, we've had this tradition since grade 10, where we would find the most terrifying looking romance books possible. We're talking the ones with the shirtless, oily looking cowboys on the cover. Then have dramatic reading on her birthday. So there I was, mumbling the mind-numbing, cheesy titles, when I noticed a book sitting on the top row. I was looking through. It was immediately clear that it did not belong in the crappy romance shelf. So I pulled it off the top out of mild curiosity. The book looked very fancy, with a faded green hardcover and golden pages. On the cover, in a very curly font, were the words, "The Observations of the Experienced Watcher," by the author's name was blotted out with newer looking ink. I flipped it open to a random page, expecting to see diagrams of birds, but was instead greeted by an old ink drawing of two little girls in petticoats sitting on a bench in the distance. Under the drawing, I peered at the description below it, which read, "I only wish that I was as fair as you, dear Hannah." Thinking it was a funny coincidence that a character's name was the same as my friend's, I tossed it into my basket, along with a trash heap called "You Stole My Heart." I went to the lineup and waited as the teenager cashier that looked like he wanted to die slowly typed in the romance book's price. I glanced down at his name tag in annoyance, which had the name Derek scribbled in on Sharpie. Derek then proceeded to spend a ridiculous amount of time looking for the weird book's price tag, eventually giving up and adding $2 to my bill for the book. I put the weird book on my shelf and forgot about it. You Stole My Heart was hilariously awful, and time just kind of flew until quarantine. Hannah was bored out of her mind and asked to borrow one of my books. She went into her room to read for a while, but came back into my room looking mildly peeved. "You didn't tell me you were writing a book about us," she said in a clipped voice. "What?" I responded. She repeated herself in an exacerbated voice, holding up the observation of the experienced watcher. "I didn't write that. I found it at Value Village," I said flatly. "Well, I didn't write this, and I know for a fact that only you know about the cat incident." She opened the book and flipped through the pages, showing me. There was another ink drawing of the two petticoat girls leaning over a cat. Around the picture was drawings of leaves, which obscured some of the picture. Dude, you know I'm trash at drawing, and I hate writing. Plus, why would I draw us wearing those old-ass dresses? "Well, then who the hell wrote this?" she asked, beginning to hyperventilate. Hannah and I read through the book, page by page. The book seemed to center around me in particular, with many drawings depicting my life, but always from a distance. At a certain point, the book switched from being typed to being written in ink with barely comprehensible handwriting. Here's an excerpt. "Having found a gift that she knew would delight her dearest friend, Hannah, the young woman purchased both her new beautiful book and the silly romance novel from Derek, the young spotty boy that worked at the village shop. The book continually hints at me meeting a tragic end, and Hannah and I are scared for our lives. The worst part is that the book keeps being updated, and it is almost out of pages."